Good day to everyone. I am Radha from the Department of English, and today I am going to talk about How Dare You, a speech by Greta Thunberg, a Swedish environmental activist. Now this is an example of persuasive speech. Now this has been given as an example to understand the key message for students and also the public to understand and critically examine the issue of environmental issues and also personal responsibility. Now it is a persuasive speech, that means a speech which is used to persuade the audience to take action, to understand the problem, to examine the issue, and also to take necessary action and also personal responsibility. Now this resolution we are talking about, which is on the screen now, it is called UN resolution, and this is about activist Greta Thunberg. Now what do you mean by UN resolution? Now we have Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss How Dare You, a speech by environmental activist Greta Thunberg. Now in this persuasive speech, we can see certain rhetorical devices which are used in order to influence, in order to persuade audience and talk about a very serious issue. Now this is a powerful speech by activist Greta Thunberg, who is a teenager, and in this the purpose or the objective of this speech is to understand the way public speaking is so powerful and also how to become a great public speaker. Now the examples of speeches given by great speakers serve as an example and also a motivation and inspiration for us to mold ourselves as great speakers. Now here the purpose of this speech which we are going to read is for students to understand the problem of environmental disasters, also the climatic changes and the danger in which our planet Earth is in. It also implores us to take personal responsibility for protecting the environment. Now let us see who Greta Thunberg is, and before that let us see what is UN resolution. Now the United Nations organization is an organization which was established after the Second World War, in which we find the countries of the world as members. Now this UN assembly is a general assembly where all the members of the countries, representatives of different countries and nations of the world, take resolutions or make decisions which are implemented all over the world with regard to many issues which are faced by humanity or mankind. Now here we are talking about the resolution 70/1, which is about transforming the world. It is the 2030 agenda, and this agenda is for sustainable development, and this resolution was taken on 25th September 2015. Now according to this resolution, there are 17 sustainable developmental goals. Development goals means goals which are to be achieved by 2030 by all the nations of the world. Now the first resolution is to end poverty and hunger. The second one is most important thing is to protect human rights and human dignity, and the most important thing which we are concerned now is about protecting the planet from degradation. Now what do you mean by degradation? The worsening of the conditions of the world is called degradation, and also to foster peace. Now here we see the picture of Greta Thunberg. Now she is a Swedish girl. Okay, she belongs to this country called Sweden. Now her name is Greta Tintin Eleonora Emmen Thunberg. Now she is an environmental activist, and she has gained international recognition and for promoting the view that humanity is facing an existential crisis. That means the very existence or survival of mankind is endangered or in a crisis because of the climatic changes and because of environmental disasters, and this is something which is created by humanity, by mankind, and it is mankind who has to correct these issues or save humanity from this crisis. Now this crisis has arisen because of climatic changes, which is a result of the pollution which human beings are creating. Now here let us read about the history of Greta Thunberg. Now she heard about the climatic change in 2011. As soon as she understood the issue, she was worried because very little was being done about it. Now there is such a big crisis, and the whole world or the peoples of the world or the leaders of different nations or countries are least concerned about it because everyone is involved in becoming successful, becoming rich, protecting their position, being successful in their own careers, and they are not concerned, neither the people nor the leaders or any country is concerned about the planet as a whole. So very little is being done about the governments, done by the governments. Now this situation made her depressed, and at the age of 11 itself she stopped talking and eating as a protest. And because of this, and this was a result of her depression, she became sad about the condition of the earth, condition of our planet. So she lost her weight in 2 months, and then she was diagnosed with this disease called obsessive compulsive disorder, which means generally being obsessed means always thinking about a particular thing is called obsession. Now this is a kind of disorder. Now and then whenever she was touched, whenever they moved her, she only talked about environment, about saving the planet, about the disaster which the earth planet is facing. Now she got what is called selective mutism. Now what is the meaning of selective? Being choosy about something or choosing something. Mutism is a word which is derived from the word mute, which means silent. Now she has adapted selective mutism. This is because of her mental condition. That means she was completely deeply depressed about the planet. Now as a result, she described that selective mutism aspect of her condition as meaning that she only speaks when necessary. She stopped speaking and she spoke only when necessary, and she only spoke about the condition of the earth. Now Greta struggled with depression for 3 or 4 years, and before she began her school strike. After struggling with depression for 3 years, she started launching her protest, and she launched her protest at school first. Okay, but her parents also did not support her in this struggle. Now she started her activism at home when she challenged her parents, and she implored them to reduce their carbon footprint. Now what do you mean by carbon footprint? Carbon footprint means the amount of emission which each person emits, emission of carbon, that is called carbon footprint. That means what amount, the clothes which we wear, whatever we use, whatever we eat, everything has a carbon footprint. That means the kind of food which you are eating also has an impact on the environment. That means we are leaving carbon footprint on this environment. Okay, so she wanted her family to become vegans. Vegans means being strictly vegetarian. That means not even eating any kind of animal products, leave alone meat and flesh, non-vegetarian food. Vegans do not even eat dairy products, any products from animals. That means because we need milk. We have cattle, we have poultry for our own needs. So we have so many animals grown, animals which are rare for the sake of providing us food. Now this is the reason for the increase of carbon emissions in the environment. Now she tried showing them graphs and data. Okay, she showed them actual data showing how we are destroying our environment, destroying our planet, destroying our existence. Now we have enjoyed water, we have enjoyed all the natural resources, we have a clean atmosphere. Now imagine the city of Delhi, which is the most polluted city in our country. Okay, for days together they have this what is called smog, where they have respiratory problems. People are dying because of cancers, because of respiratory problems, suffering from pneumonia, etc. So this is an example I am giving it to you. But when it did not work, she showed them examples, she showed them proofs of how the environment is being degraded, is subjected to degradation. Now she warned her family that they were stealing her future. Now we have lived our lives, the elders have lived their lives, but what about the future generations? They must have a clean environment in order to survive. Now there is life on the planet of Earth because of atmosphere only. Now we are we are destroying this atmosphere because of our actions. Now she has planned this, so what is called Fridays for Future. Now here she can she said school strike for climate. Now she launched this protest, and then she has talked about in August 2018 she began the school climate strikes and public speeches, for which she has become an internationally recognized climate activist. Now because of her speeches and the protests she has launched in her school, she became an internationally recognized activist. Now on 20th August 2018, Thunberg, she has just started her 9th grade. She was studying 9th class. So she decided not to attend school until 2018 Swedish general election was conducted. Okay, on 9th September her protest began after the heat waves. She did not start the protest without anything. Now Sweden was swept by heat fires. Heat waves means extraordinary rise in temperatures, high temperatures, which is unbearable. Sweden is actually a very cool country, a cold country, but here they experienced heat waves and also wildfires because of the excessive heat. There was wildfires where forests were destroyed. Now you have seen recently in California and also in Canada where people couldn't bear the high temperatures. So during Sweden's hottest summer in at least 262 years. After 262 years, they experienced these heat waves. Now this is an alarming condition which she recognized that it was time that they opened their eyes to these environmental disasters. Now next, let us look at this speech. Now she gave this speech in the United Nations Assembly. Now here she is addressing the leaders of the nations. It's not simply enough you sit in the assembly and take some decisions and show off that you are doing something. Okay, it's not enough if you only speak about things. What is important is action. So action is more powerful than words. Is that, now look at the way she is presenting, she is making her presentation, the power of the words and the way she is expressing her concern in a very powerful manner. So my message is that we will be watching you. Now who are the we here? It is the future generations, the young children. Remember that you are not doing things without being watched. We all know what you are doing. That is what she is saying. Now what is this? We are all watching you. This is all wrong. This is all wrong. Whatever you are doing here or in your countries is wrong. She is talking to the elders, all the people who are responsible. Now adults are responsible. They have a great duty. Now we have duty towards our children, our family, our nation, our society, and also to the environment. Now she is saying, I am a young girl, I should be in school. Okay, but here what am I doing? Yet you all come to us young people for hope. You say that future generations are the hope of the world. Now you do everything and you are coming to us for hope. How dare you? With what courage are you approaching us? Can you do that? That is what she is saying. You have stolen my dreams. You have no no right to talk to us because you have stolen my dream. Okay, young children, even elders have dreams. Young children are so passionate about their lives. They enjoy life. They are brimming with life. Now here you have ruined my childhood with your empty words. Okay, and yet you say we are lucky ones. Okay, you are the lucky ones. Now people are suffering. People are dying. The entire ecosystem is collapsing. You see many plant species which are extinct. We see many animals, birds, insects which are extinct. That means this is a warning bell. This is an alarm. Okay, it is not only mankind who are responsible, who have a right to live on this planet. Even microorganisms have a right to live on this planet. This is an ecosystem which is balanced. Now humanity or mankind is responsible for disturbing this balance. So we are on the beginning of mass extinction. That means the whole mankind is going to be extinct. That means we will never be born again. There will be no species called mankind at all. So, and you all talk about only money, fairy tales and eternal economic growth. Always talking about materialistic thing, not bothered about environment. How dare you? For more than 30 years, science has been crystal clear. Scientists have been crying. Okay, they have been shouting. They have been giving you proofs about how the ozone layer is distorted, how it is depleting, how the resources are depleting, what kind of danger mankind is in. How dare you continue to look away and come here saying that you are doing enough? You are not doing enough. So when politics and solutions needed are still nowhere in sight. Okay, nowhere in sight means you can't even see anything being done. So your politics are about money, about economic growth, about becoming rich, but you are not providing any solution to this environmental problem. You say you hear us, you understand the urgency, but no matter how sad and angry I am. Now, you have seen how she was mentally depressed. You are not bothered about the we don't take care about the feelings of children. But now you talk about our future, but you are not bothered about our future. Now see here, you are saying you are doing enough, but you say you are not recognizing that we are sad and angry, and I do not want to believe that. Because if you really understood the situation and you still kept on failing to act, this is the problem. You understand the problem, you are not taking any action, then you would be evil. If you are not doing it, if you see something and you don't stop something, that means you are evil. And I refuse to believe you. Now 50% may be acceptable to you, but those numbers do not include tipping points, most feedback loops, additional warming hidden by toxic air pollution. Now these are the things which are endangering our climate, endangering our species. Now aspects of equity, climate justice. Okay, now it is important that whatever, even if you are establishing an industry, now because they don't take care, now you see protests in our country also, where they establish an industry, they have to take care about the environment. What are the emissions which are coming out of that factory in the process of production, manufacturing. Okay, now there must be environmental clearance. Even if you conduct a meeting also, there should be no harm to the environment. Okay, so they also rely on my generation sucking hundreds of billions of tons of your CO2 out of air with technologies that barely exist. So a 50% risk is simply not acceptable to us. We have to live with the danger. Now, to have a 67% chance of staying below a 1.5 degrees global temperature rise given by the intergovernment, now she is showing certain data, proves to show that we are endangered. Now the world had 420 gigatons of CO2 fell to emit back on January 1st, 2018. Today that figure is already down to less than 350 gigatons. Now these are the measurements. Now how dare you pretend that this can be solved with just business as usual? Is that possible? So some technical solutions, this is not possible. So by looking at these kind of emission levels, remaining CO2 budget will be entirely gone within less than 8.5 years. So there is very little time. Okay, so there will not be any solutions or plans presented in line with these figures here today. So because these numbers are too uncomfortable and you are still not mature enough to tell it like it is. Okay, this is not the way. Okay, now the most important thing is you are failing us. Ante, who are these people here? The future generations who have to continue existence. Future generations means not only this generation but also the generations which are going to come. But the young people are starting to understand your betrayal. Now people are educated, not only elders but also small children are becoming aware about environment. Now each and every child knows that using plastic is very, very dangerous. Okay, people are being taught. Now we have what is called environmental science at a very young level. So younger generations are being educated about using the environment, being responsible toward the environment. Now the eyes of all future generations are upon you. Now who are these people? The leaders of the nations. Who are the policy makers? Each and every nation and the leaders of the nation have to make policies which enable the sustainable development of their nations with regard to keeping in view the environment also. And if you choose to fail us, I say, we will never forgive you. Who will never forgive? The future generations will never forgive them. Now see, so understand the impact of this, what she is saying. Now here is a brief meaning of her speech. What are the issues she is raising? So now what we can learn from Greta in her own words. Now she is a small girl. Now we are actually silent with issues which are happening around us. We are only concerned about our existence, our survival. Now see, now she is talking about the whole humanity and mankind, keeping aside her career. Now she is a child, she must go to school, she must educate herself, she must develop a career. But she has given up everything to save the planet. Now let's read some things. So we can't save the world by playing by the rules, because the rules have to be changed. Everything needs to change. And it has to start today. Now as I've said earlier, it's not 8.5 years, which is a very short time, which will by which time the emissions will increase. Now here the power of starting small. When we look at Greta Thunberg, she started her protest at school. Okay, people say that Sweden is a small country. Okay, but I think that if a few children can get headlines all over the world, coming to school for a few weeks, imagine what we could all do to the whole world. When we talk about Sweden as a small country, from a small country, a small kid has staged her protest. Now she has asked tough questions. Okay, everyone keeps saying climate change is an existential threat. Okay, and an issue of all. Yet they all just carry on like before. Nothing happens. They meet at the assembly, everyone gives speeches, and then they say we are going to do this or that, but nothing is done. Speaking is not enough. So we have to stop the emissions, and we must stop the emissions. For me, that is black or white. There are no gray areas when it comes to survival. Either this or that. Decisions must be taken and actions must be taken. The facts are already out there. Now, some people say that I should be in school instead. Now, why do you bother? We elders are there, we can take care of it. There are so many powerful leaders of the nations. They have to take care of this issue. But why are you, a small kid, coming out? You can go to school and educate yourself, and we will take care of the problem. But I should study to become a climate scientist so that I can solve the climate crisis. But the climate crisis has already been solved. Okay, we know what to do. We have already all the facts and solutions. All we have to do is to wake up and change. What is the meaning of being being awake? That means we are aware. So everyone must be aware about the issues. Everyone must take responsibility. Everyone must act and implement the solutions. That is what she is talking about. Now we need action now. We have had 30 years of pep talking. What is pep talking? Talking as a show. Okay, talking as if we are great speakers, giving great ideas, showing as if we are very, very concerned. Okay, and I'm sorry, but it doesn't work, because if it would have, the emissions would have gone down by now. If the solutions were implemented, if the solutions have been taken up, the emissions would have gone down very early. They haven't, and yes, we do need hope. Of course we do. But the one thing we need more than hope is action. What is the point in giving hope? Okay, we will hope, but we need action. Okay, now look at this UN Climate Action Summit. These are pictures of UN Climate Action Summit on September 23rd. Thunberg attended the UN Climate Action Summit in New York City, and that day the United Nations Children's Fund, which is called UNICEF, hosted a press conference where she joined 15 other children, including Ayaka Melihata, Alexandria Villas-Ifior, Katerina Lorenza, Carl Smith, and others. Now here at the UN Climate Action Summit, now she has given this is the beginning of her speech, and here this is climate activist Greta Thunberg has told the world leaders at the 2019 UN Climate Action Summit in New York. Now she has challenged them by saying, "How dare you?" Now the title of this speech is also "How dare you?" How dare you talk like this? How dare you behave like this? Endangering the future of young children. Now look at this autumn global climate strikes. Now in Canada also, Thunberg participated in climate protests in the cities of Montreal, Edmonton, and Vancouver, including leading a climate rally as part of the 27th September Global Climate Strike. Now she also participated in the United Nations Climate Change Conference COP25. It was planned at Santiago, Chile in December. However, it was announced on a short notice. It was moved to Madrid, Spain, and because of serious public interest in Chile, because there was lot of protesters, they shifted it to Spain, Madrid. Now Thunberg is a social media activist, and she has given many messages on Instagram and Twitter, and she has also many social media accounts. And after October 2018, Thunberg's activism evolved into solitary protesting for taking part in demonstration throughout Europe. And she also spoke out against the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test, undergraduated 2020, a joint entrance examination, which are being conducted in India in September. She said that if it is unfair for students to appear for exams in the middle of a global pandemic. So 2020, it is the time when we were affected by Corona. So it is a global pandemic, but people were asked to write the JEE examination. Now Greta Thunberg also protested against this kind of conducting. Now during the COVID-19 also, she has talked about virtual activism. That means behavioral changes which are required, including social distancing, quarantine, etc. during the Corona time. Now the Greta, and what is the effect of the Greta effect? Now because she has inspired a number of her school-aged peers means people, children of her age, in what has been described as the Greta effect. That means in response to her outspoken stance means the stand which she has taken various politicians also acknowledged to need to focus on climate change. So look at the effect of awareness, look at the effect of responsibility, feeling, okay, not being selfish and talking about the whole of mankind and the whole of the nations. Now in 2019 also, she found the public concern about the environment, and she soared to record levels in the UK since Thunberg and Extinction Rebellion had pierced the bubble of denial. Now in August 2019, children's book about climate crisis have been doubled compared to the previous year. Now this is the effect of activism. Now thank you for I hope you all liked this video, understood what is being discussed, and hope you are all able to examine, understand this environmental crisis, and also the power of the rhetorical devices used in this speech, such as repetition of the word "how dare you," which is a rhetorical question. Okay, now this is the end of the video lecture. Thank you.